Everyone, I'm Dr. Loharan. I'm a board-certified upper cervical chiropractor. You've probably seen that intro and have wondered, what is upper cervical chiropractic? In this video, we're going to talk about what upper cervical chiropractic is, why it's an important area, and how we correct that misalignment. Okay, so what is it? The upper cervical area is C1 and C2. I'm going to show you on this giant model here. This is the back of the head. This is C1 or Atlas, and this is C2 or axis. And that's it, it's that simple. So why are you so obsessed with it? That is a great question. There are many reasons why we are obsessed with the upper cervical area. First being blood flow. The vertebral arteries pass through these bones, kind of like how the elastic is passing through these bones here, before they enter the brain and supply blood flow to the brain. The second is proprioception. So there are millions of proprioceptors within the soft tissue of these bones here. Proprioceptors tell your brain where your body is in space. So if you have a misalignment here, it can cause compensations because your center of gravity is shifting, and we can see compensations go all the way down to your feet. Third is the brainstem. The brainstem sits behind these bones here. The brainstem is responsible for our primal functions. So things we don't think about, like breathing, sleeping, hormone release, blood pressure, heart rate, and finally, the alignment of these bones, these foramen here. The alignment of these foramen are really important for CSF entering and exiting the brain. So a misalignment in the upper cervical spine can cause symptoms related to any of those structures listed above. What that means is patients who have an upper cervical misalignment can have headaches, neck pain, dizziness, have shoulder pain, or even low back pain, forward head posture, biomechanical problems in the way they move, brain fog, memory issues, and so much more. So it's really important to assess and correct any misalignments in this area. Now the follow-up question is always, how do you correct an upper cervical misalignment? I know. There are many different specialties within upper cervical chiropractic. So many different techniques are used to correct this area. And I made a short a while ago, and I'll link to it right here if you want to take a look at it. But in our office, we specialize in Atlas Orthogonal. And there are 3 reasons why we choose to specialize in this technique. The first being specificity, second being reproducibility, and the third being effectiveness. The first reason, specificity, little history lesson. This specialty was founded by Dr. Roy Sweat, and Dr. Kathirson and I were fortunate enough to be in his last class that he ever taught. He found the Atlas, or C1, did not need a lot of force at all to move it. Instead, a light force delivered precisely in the angle of correction is all that's needed to move the bone. Let me show you what this means with an example. Here we have patient Rob. He comes in with a headache, and we do a thorough examination and find that he has an upper cervical misalignment. So we take his x-rays and find this. Now I'm going to show you how we correct this misalignment using a table and medical device designed by Dr. Sweat. I had to move rooms, but this is cool that you guys can see a second table. We have multiple table designs in our office that all do the same thing. There's a reason why I haven't shown this table before, and it's because I know it looks a little scary, but I can assure you that this does not come out or inject anything in you. I've had a patient tell me or ask me that before. Instead, this machine creates a percussive force that gets transferred through the stylus into the bone here. The percussive force is similar to a sound wave, and we interact with those all the time and don't feel them, right? When a percussive force interacts with something solid, moves it. So that's how this machine will move the Atlas. As you can see, there are many different types of protractors along here that measures the angle. We can increase the table height, we can change this angle here, and there's also an angle measurement here that we can change the rotation of the head. I wish I could say that I came up with this example by myself, but I actually saw a video by Dr. Cooper in Portland, Oregon, who also practices Atlas Orthogonal. So thanks for the cool example. When we combine this gentle force with the exact angle that the force needs to be delivered, we get this. Here we have patient Rob's initial x-ray on the left side of the screen, and on the right is his x-ray after we corrected the Atlas misalignment. You can see here he goes from an obvious head tilt to an orthogonal correction. So the more specific the angle, the less force we need to move the bones back into place. This machine actually only produces 6 pounds of force. This brings us to reason 2, reproducibility. This formula that we got to correct the Atlas is saved in the patient's file and used again if the Atlas comes out of alignment. If the Atlas comes out of alignment, it always misaligns in the same pattern. The only time that that pattern changes is if the patient gets into a new trauma. And if that happens, then we'll have to take updated x-rays again to see the new formula. With this formula saved to the patient's file, all the doctor has to do is set up the patient and press the button. Dr. Sweat used to say, "I can't press this button any better than you can." We've also had patients who have traveled from another state and are under AO care there and realized that their Atlas came out of place during vacation and they were in a ton of pain. So they were able to come into our office with their formula, get adjusted, and go enjoy their vacation. So reproducibility is awesome for the patient as well. And finally, we are at reason 3. The results are highly effective. Dr. Kathirson and myself have seen thousands of patients, and we have helped them with headaches, migraines, dizziness, trigeminal neuralgia, Meniere's disease, low back pain, shoulder pain, and so much more. But we can get into specific conditions in later videos. Okay, we have reached the end. To summarize, Anatomy Chiropractic is a chiropractic clinic in San Diego, California, and we specialize in upper cervical chiropractic. The upper cervical region consists of C1 and C2, and there are tons of really important structures within that area. So if you have a misalignment there, you can have functional issues or even neurological symptoms. To correct an upper cervical misalignment, Dr. Kathirson and I specialize in Atlas Orthogonal Chiropractic. We actually completed additional schooling to become board certified in Atlas Orthogonal and become true experts within that field. The reason we choose to practice Atlas Orthogonal is because, one, it is highly specific, which means we can use a very low force to move the bones back into place. It is reproducible and highly effective for all the patients that we have treated. Thanks for watching this video. If you found it useful, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends who might be curious about what upper cervical chiropractic is. And make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you don't miss out on the next video. Until next time.